Hi guys, I'm Mike from Peninsula Hydroponics, and today we're going to talk about how we fertilize our tomato plants. This year ours are they're doing great so far, and one of the things has been consistent watering, but the other thing is how we fertilize. So this year we had one plant that got damaged early on and didn't make it. You see everything else is doing great, so we had to replace this plant. Because of that, we haven't fertilized this plant yet. We wanted to let it get a little better established, so we're going to pull the irrigation line out, and we're using Pride Land's tomato and veggie fertilizer, tomato tone. There's a bunch of other great brands. I like this one. I kind of prefer this one. The good thing is it has a bunch of beneficial bacteria and mycorrhizae and biochar. It kind of has a few extra things that some of the other fertilizers don't have, but use what you have. Most of them are great. So anything that we stock, I can guarantee you we do, or is great. This particular feed recommends 1.5 cups per 5x5 area. This is obviously much smaller. This is like 2x2, maybe a little bigger. So, maybe 4 or 5 square foot versus 25. So we'll use about, 1/5 of that. So that comes out to around a third of a cup, or a little over a quarter of a cup. So this little measuring spoon I have here is 1/8 cup. We'll do 2 of these around the base of the plant. I'll start off with that. So this is kind of the first step. And so we'll sprinkle this. Try not to touch too close to the stem. It's kind of hard to overdo it with organic fertilizers. You can, it's possible. And so I'll probably add a little extra here. Try to make it a point to not touch the stem of the plant. Sometimes fertilizers can burn if you do that, or they can damage the stem. So that's the first step. We'll put down a good balanced fertilizer for the plants. Next, here's one of the secrets. Mountain Gate Organics worm castings. These I think are the best worm castings around, made right here in the state of Virginia. We go up and pick them up personally from a farm out in Harrisonburg, and great stuff. You can tell the difference when you look at the quality. But what we'll do is not real scientific about it. I throw in about a 1/2-inch layer of worm castings over top of all this stuff, and I'll be honest, I was never really a worm castings guy. I never really used them. I didn't see the value in them until relatively recently, and they make the difference, no doubt about it. They add microbiology, readily available nutrients to the plants, and they just seem to have done better this year. Okay, the next step is going to be watering this fertilizer mixture in. You can use just tap water. Rainwater is probably preferable. And I add in a little bit of this green aminos. This is a kelp-based amino acid product. You don't have to use this. I'm going to go a little lighter than it says, a teaspoon per gallon. So I'll mix that into this water here. Again, not 100% necessary. So mix that in. And another thing I add is a little splash of a wetting agent. Again, this isn't necessary, just makes mixing this a little easier. Not real scientific. I pour a little in the cap, throw it in there. Got about maybe 2 gallons of water here. Mix it around once. We're not adjusting pH. We're not doing any of that stuff. We don't need to. And then we'll gently water this stuff in. Now, one of the things that I like to do is massage it into the roots of the plant. The wetting agent helps make the dry fertilizer blend mix in and not drift away in the wind. It's light and it's a ground. It's really fine powder. So sometimes it can become airborne if it's not mixed mixed in. And so we'll make kind of like a little mud. You can see the dry in there. And so I like kind of mixing it in to make sure it's not going to float or wash away with watering. So I'll massage it in a little bit. You can put on some gloves if this makes you a little bit squirmish. We'll make a little mud here. And I can pretty much guarantee that it won't float away now. So we'll let that go. Rinse my hand off in the bucket there. And then the last step, this is another thing that I hadn't really used much before the past few years. And this is rice hulls. This is something that we stock. It comes in these big bales. It's relatively inexpensive. It's great to use for a mulch layer. They say you can, I believe on the bag it says 2 to 3 inches. I don't go quite that heavy with it, but it's great to use as a mulch layer to keep the weeds down. Oh, squeeze by. And so I'll put in probably an inch or two. Yeah, a decent amount. It will pack down. And the good part of this is that as you, when you go to mix it in at the end of the season, it adds aeration to your soil. It also, as it breaks down, adds silica to your soil. So it's a great product. And it's very cost effective. This stuff, I think a bale of this is about, I don't want to guess, I think it's about 40 bucks or so, maybe a little bit more. But it's really packed in here and you can get a lot out of it. You can see I've already done a bunch of these rows. I'm still on the first bag. So we'll add in a couple inches of this. And then later on, when you want to fertilize again, this stuff will kind of pack down. You can pull it away. This is probably a better example. You can pull it away nicely like this and add fertilizer again in 2 or 3 weeks and keep these plants producing all the way until late summer, early fall, hopefully. But that's it. That's what I like to do. And hopefully y'all find some value in this and can see results like this.